From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Open Line. I am Ben Hall. Great show tonight. Talking about presidential politics 2016. It is not too early to start talking about all of this. Several Republican candidates have already declared. Certainly Hillary Clinton is in on the Democratic side. So we want to get a sense of what do you think? And also look at some of the commercials that are already out for some of the candidates. We're very happy to have with us Kent Syler. Kent, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Political science professor at MTSU. I get excited talking about all this stuff. It's not too early because they've declared and we're already seeing commercials out there, right? So it's already in pretty much full swing right now.
It is. It's early, but obviously when things start happening, you got to start talking about them, right? And we've had candidates announcing. There's just a lot going on. If you just like to sit back and watch it, it's going to be a fun political next year and a half.
So let's talk about, I want to talk about both sides, but certainly the Republican side, there's more competition.
Yes.
And what do you see happening right now? We've seen Marco Rubio get in. Jeb Bush is certainly a name out there. What is going on the Republican side, and how tough is this going to be?
It's going to be a lot like 2012, I think, in that Mitt Romney was the prohibitive establishment favorite. You take the Mitt Romney name this time, you put Jeb Bush there. And unlike the 2000 race when Jeb's brother George W. got into the race, everything cleared out. If Jeb Bush is going to win the nomination, he's going to slug it out primary by primary, just like Mitt Romney did. I think Jeb Bush is a better general election candidate than Mitt Romney was, but getting the nomination is going to be the same battle Mitt Romney fought.
Republicans have a history of kind of nominating the person who's next in line. And sometimes we've seen with Democrats, they'll nominate the person they feel like has the best chance of winning. And in both instances, that's not necessarily the best candidate.
No.
We've seen a Democratic candidate, and the best argument was, well, he has the best chance of winning. And we've seen a Republican candidate win, and it was like, well, it was his turn. On the Republican side, how do you think it's going to go? Is it going to be, well, it's their turn, or is a winning argument, this candidate has the best chance of winning? What do you think is going to happen on this?
Normally, yes, especially after a party's been out of office for 8 years, they tend to be hungrier. And so winning becomes more important than philosophical purity. But I don't think the Republican Party's there right now. I think they would rather have a candidate who thinks like they do, is conservative as they are, than they would a moderate who might win. So, and there's competing schools there. There's going to be the establishment group that wants to go ahead and win the race and win with Jeb Bush. But there's going to be, just like we saw in 2012, every month probably we're going to see a new Bush alternative, or maybe a new Scott Walker alternative. We can't discount him. He's leading Jeb Bush in a lot of polls right now. So this one has a long way to go.
And what happened with Mitt Romney was that he was obviously seen as somewhat of a moderate, but then he gets in these bitter battles and these very difficult debates, and his views are kind of drawn to the right, which then makes it much harder for him to win in the general election. Do Republicans, how are they going to deal with that? We're going to have some very conservative Tea Party types that are in this, and we're going to have, Jeb Bush, who's seen as more moderate. Do you think he'll be drawn to the right, and that'll make him less electable, or how are they going to deal with that?
Yeah, it's how do you compete against Rand Paul and Senator Cruz in a Republican primary, and then get into a general election and go back to the middle. Now, traditionally, that's what both sides have done. They'll run to the left, run to the right in the primary, then they'll get it into the middle and try to win a general election. So Hillary Clinton has the advantage of not facing a tough primary, but the people on her left aren't really happy right now either. So,
and what about Chris Christie? He's not announced. Some of the early polls don't show him with big numbers, but he's certainly well known. Do you think he's going to get in? What about Chris Christie?
Well, you can't count him out. It's early. He's not doing great in the polls, correct, but he's taking that straight talk approach. You notice he talked to a group the other day of seniors and told them that, well, we're going to have to cut Social Security. Now, he wasn't talking about cutting it for them. He's talking about cutting it for people, by students and people under 50. But still, most people aren't talking about things like that. So he's going to try to be the straight talk candidate. And so we'll see what that gets him.
And how likely is it that we'll see, Bush versus Clinton again? What do you think?
Well, if you had to place a bet, that's the most likely scenario. But both are less than 50%. It's the most likely thing, but we are a long, long way from there.
Now, for Hillary Clinton on the Democratic side, is it harmful that there is no real opposition? Does that mean that she won't be battle tested? Certainly, she was battle tested last time. It's hard to argue she's not battle tested, but is there a benefit to having no real opposition?
Well, yes and no. Now, she doesn't have someone who is out attacking her every day from her own party, but she does have almost every Republican candidate who is out attacking her, and the media, rightfully so, is holding her accountable. The email incident was a real it caused her really a lot of early problems in trying to stumble out of the gate on that. And I think that was the situation of just being too cute, of trying to overthink things. And that's a real problem they've got right now, is she is so scripted and so stiff at the moment because, they got to kind of let her be herself and, get into the situation where, she knows she's a very bright woman. She can talk to you guys.
And she's been through so many campaigns. There are people that just do not like her, and there are people that really do like her. So the question then becomes, what sticks? What is the kind of damaging narrative that actually would stick and hurt her? And I've heard it debated about, does this whole email thing, if you already don't like her, then it makes you not like her more. Is that something that hurts her? And I guess as Republicans look at what is a winning message as far as what kind of will stick with Hillary, do you think they have it? Is it emails or something like that? What do you think, as somebody who's been through so many campaigns?
Well, I think the problem with Jeb Bush and the problem that Hillary Clinton has is they're going to have to express why they want this job. Not that it's her turn, not that it's Jeb's turn. Why do you want to do this? Do you have the passion? Do you have a plan? And I don't think either of them have been able to voice that yet. So that's the way I would go after either one of them is, this isn't a prize. This is something you get because you have a plan for the American people.
And so for Hillary Clinton, is she continuing? Is she running as an agent of change, or is she running to continue what Barack Obama has done? I mean, it's kind of hard for her to sit there and say, I'm going to change things when, she's been part of that administration and she's a Democrat that's already in office. What do you think? What is her winning message? Is it continuation or an agent of change?
Well, candidates who are running for, in essence, a third term after their party served two, they're running for a third. There's a handicap there as far as trying to, because that what you just expressed is a real problem. Are you going to continue what's going on? A lot of people are tired of it. Are you going to be an agent of change? Well, so it's a tough message. So she's got to come up with, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And if you look at a lot of the early communication from both sides, this race is over who can get the middle class, the working class, moving again, who can help improve those stagnant wages. That's the referendum really that this race is about.
It's going to be, so they got to be relatable.
Yeah.
Middle class. What immigration and immigrants, that was such a big part of the vote last time. And clearly Marco Rubio is an appealing person on the Republican side when it comes to some of those issues. How big a part of this campaign do you think immigration will be? Will it just be even more than we saw a few years ago? And What's sort of the fallout in the last 8 years or last 4 years about immigration?
Well, national elections have become tough for the Republican Party because you can't lose 90% of the African American vote, 70% of the Latino vote, and then hope to be successful. That's why a lot of Republicans are pushing an immigration bill, pushing immigration reform, but the right flank just won't go for it, and it's not going to happen. Senator Rubio would have an opportunity there, and would be someone who could draw, hopefully, some Latino voters for the Republican Party. But, demographics is extremely important in presidential politics. You can't discount it.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We'll take a couple of phone calls here, and we're going to show some commercials. And that's right, there are already commercials that are out. They're not playing in Tennessee, but they're out there. Each, I guess many or all the campaigns have a commercial. We'll analyze those commercials. Take a break, be back right after this.